Hi, this is Robertson, and this is my final project, video tutorial on installing a virtual machine application and basically setting that up and uh, running Nmap on it. So, basically, how I'll divide this video up is I will go over the just some of the requirements that you need to be able to run this. I'm going to be using UTM because I use a MacBook, and that is kind of like the best app for virtual machines on MacBooks. But if you're on Windows, you could obviously use something else. But yeah, basically, I'll be doing that on here. I'll show you how to install it and just kind of getting Kali Linux on there, and then also demonstrating Nmap. So first I'll start out with the host hardware and the operating system requirements. Basically, it's the processor. You do want to have either an Apple Silicon or an Intel 64-bit processor. So this is going to be like M1, M2, M3 chips, or one of the Intel chips. You also want to have at least 8 gigabytes of RAM. Now, 16 gigabytes is obviously going to make it a smoother experience, but 8 is fine, it'll get it done. You do want to have free storage. I put 20 to 40 gigabytes on there. But, basically you just want enough storage to be able to, uh, you know, install everything that you need. And then, obviously, an internet connection too. And then as far as operating system requirements go, a Mac OS Sonoma or anything newer is recommended for this. And obviously just knowing, your system's architecture, basically ARM64, and then also an Intel x86-64. These are the two different kind of architectures, but it's just kind of important to know like what your system's architecture is. I have my Mac's info up here, so if you're unsure, you just go up here, click about this Mac, and it'll tell you everything. As you can see, I meet all the requirements for this. But yeah, basically, just kind of knowing that stuff is obviously the first step. So next I'll show you how to obtain UTM. Let's see. So this is Kali Linux. This is UTM right here. So first thing is you're just going to install UTM onto your device. I've already got it installed, but you're just going to click that button, save it to a folder that you can remember. It doesn't take that long. And then you're also going to get Kali Linux. And basically what this is this is just like the operating system that you'll be using in your virtual machine. So this part's really important. You want to go to the right thing, of course. So basically where you want to go to is you just want to go to this installer images, and you're going to scroll down and make sure that you have the right one selected. So my device, I have an M2 chip, so I'm going to use this one. And then you're just going to click this right here, and you'll install it to your device. Now, that will take a couple minutes, just depending on your system. Once you have that downloaded, you'll basically use that once we get into our virtual machine. And what you would do is just drag and drop this into applications. Again, I already have it downloaded, but you just do that, and then it will install. And then once it's installed, you can just search it up on your computer, and it brings you to this. Now, one thing I want to mention before we set up the virtual machine is that as far as like licensing goes, obviously the web version is free, but you can also get UTM from the App Store on the Mac, but it is $9.99. And that just kind of supports like the developers of it. But yeah, basically, this is just important to keep in mind. Performance of your virtual machine does depend on your hardware of your device. And then also, again, just keep in mind the architecture whenever you're downloading Kali. But yeah, that was just something I wanted to get out of the way there. Next, what you'll do, once you have that open, once you have your app open, basically what you want to click is you want to create a new virtual machine, and we're going to click virtualize, and you're going to click your operating system. Again, we're setting up Kali Linux. I'm going to set the cores to 8. Right. So you can leave that as is. Click continue. And boot from ISO image. So what you'll do is you'll just navigate to that Kali Linux ISO that we downloaded. Alright, so we're gonna do that. Click continue. We're gonna leave the size as is. Continue. And then this is just an overview of all of the kind of specifications that we just did. I'm gonna rename this. I'm just gonna add Kali in there. Just check that. But yeah, you just leave all that as is. And then it will open up this. Click save. And now we have a virtual machine. So go ahead and open it up. So for this part, it doesn't really matter, install or graphical install. You could do either way. You get this black screen right here. So what you're gonna do is X out of that. So just power it down, right click on here, click edit, and go down to new serial, and click save, and you're going to click on this again, and now you have 2 windows open. So you're not going to work from this one, you're going to work from this one, and this is just so that you don't have that black screen. So I'm going to press enter. Basically, you're just going to set up your virtual machine. So I'm just clicking enter on all of these. For my host name, I'm just going to leave that as is. Domain name, I'm also going to put Kali. This part, you'll press yes. And then this is, actually not yet. Alright, so here you're just gonna go down to continue, so I'm clicking the tab key. And this part is the longest part because you are installing everything on here. So yeah, I'd say it takes about like 5 minutes, if that. But yeah, this is just the part where you wait. Alright, so the installation is complete. You'll just continue. Alright, so now X out of that one, and then just shut down your virtual machine like that, and then you can close that. And then down here, this part is important, just press clear so that you don't have the ISO in there anymore, because otherwise it will just take you through the installation again. And now you're ready to click back on your virtual machine. Alright, so we're gonna enter username, password, log in. Sometimes there are issues with just getting into this. Alright, so you're in, and we're gonna go to terminal so that we can use Nmap. I'll just give a quick demonstration of how to use Nmap in Kali Linux. In case you're unfamiliar of what it is, Nmap is a network scanning tool that is used to basically just with identifying open ports and services running on a target system. It's a very helpful tool in cybersecurity. And for this project, I do have a required scan that I'm going to perform, but before I do it, it's always important to make sure that Nmap is installed on here, and as you can see, it is on there. So now I'm going to run the scan. So essentially what this command is doing is I'm just using Nmap on this approved target, which is scan me, and this is just seeing which ports are open and just kind of the areas that, you know, a team would need to look into and protect more. And basically, just a quick little breakdown of this command. So what ST means is this is running a TCP connect scan, and that's essentially checking which doors on the target system will actually take a connection. And then PN, this skips host discovery, and that means that Nmap doesn't check whether the target responds to a ping. So essentially it assumes that the target is online. And the last part is A, which enables aggressive scanning options, and that means that it tries to gather more detailed information from the device, like operating systems or services that are on the device. And click enter, and it's starting the scan. And just like that, the scan is done and you have your results here. Basically just how you read this is you have these 4 columns right here, and what you would do is just go through each one. So for instance, at port 22, you can see that it's open. You know, it's associated with this SSH, and since it says that it's open, that just means that the target is accepting SSH connections on that port, which doesn't mean that it's unsafe. It just means that it's visible from the network. So definitely as a security team, you want to make sure that it's protected, you know, just with stronger passwords and just keeping everything up to date. But yeah, and you can go through all this more, but I'll just use that as the example. But yeah, that completes the Nmap demonstration. Hopefully that was helpful. These are the links that I used in this video for just downloading Kali and UTM. Feel free to go to those sites. But yeah, that's basically it. That concludes this phase 2 video. Thank you for watching. Bye.